congratulations on such an incredible film. How do you go about unpacking 500 years of history and all this research that Philippa did?
Well, there's only so much you can tell in a sort of 95-minute or 1 hour 40, whatever it is, film. So you have to curate the facts. So you have to try and give a flavour of who Richard III was and who Philippa Langley is, because there's a sort of parallel between the two characters, and so we tried to draw on that. You know, Philippa Langley was someone who was judged quite harshly, and Richard III, in her opinion, was someone who was judged quite harshly. So she sort of developed an empathy with the dead king, and almost in her imagination a relationship with him. And that's what we depict in the film. That's sort of driving force of the film. The king comes to life, played by the man next to me. So it was fun to write. We wanted it to be enjoyable, to be entertaining. Jeff and I, as writers, are populists. We want to entertain people and also make them think about things at the same time. And the best thing about the film was it was an amateur who led the search for Richard III and found him.
Absolutely, and because she's an amateur, did she inspire you to go and research history and go and try and find your own?
Well, I've always been quite interested in history anyway. It's my go-to. In the genres segment, I always go to history documentaries because I'm fascinated by it. But this story is really Philippa Langley's story, and really we piggyback her story on Richard III. It's about an amateur's voyage of discovery. She doesn't just discover Richard III; she discovers herself at the same time.
Absolutely. And working with Philippa on this, what was that process like?
Philippa was very, very useful in two ways. One, in that she was the subject of the film, so we got to talk to her and learn about her personality and her peccadillos and her eccentricities. But it's also but she also was a mine of information. She was also a journalistic value to us, because she knew, to use an appropriate metaphor, she knew where the bodies were buried, as it were. So she was really helpful to us and was very engaged in the process. And we were happy about that, because we wanted to tell her story, and she trusted us to do justice to it.
Amazing. And this film's coming out at a very interesting time for Britain, because obviously we've just had this state funeral for a monarch, and then this king was under a car park for so many years. What is that contrast like for you?
Well, we're an interesting country, aren't we? Because we're a quite a small country, and we once had this huge empire, and now we're not as significant as we once were. And we have all these problems, but we still have this fascination with the monarchy, and our history is probably one of the things that we all hang on to, and it is partly about what defines us. We see ourselves often as sort of reflected in the monarchy, and Richard III is he's the black sheep of the family, or has been seen that way traditionally. So it was. So we knew it would have some resonance. I mean, obviously we didn't know what was going to happen with Majesty the Queen, but I think it does play to that. There is a certain romantic attachment to the kings and queens of the past, but really that in itself isn't enough for the film. What makes the film work is that it's about an ordinary person, not a king, an ordinary person called Philippa Langley, and it's her journey, and we just piggyback her story on Richard III.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!